Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We've talked about this subject before, but we're going to dig deeper into it today. And I'm talking about hypnotherapy. Now, yes, it can help you with many challenges, have trouble sleeping, anxiety, depression, even smoking, all of that. But many times there is an offshoot or another benefit that you don't see when you have hypnotherapy. We're going to look at that today with somebody who is certified in that, works with people all the time, changing their lives. Victoria Deeks joins us on the program. Welcome. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm a, as I shared last time we got together, a hypnotherapy champion. I tell everybody, if you're having challenges, don't make it the last thing like many people do. Make it the first thing because it really can change your life. Now, you have a story of a gentleman who was going through some challenges, had to meet some goals, if you will. Tell us about that.
So, this client wanted to quit smoking because he had some pretty serious health issues that need to be addressed through surgery. And his surgeon was not going to do the surgery until he'd quit smoking. And he'd been smoking probably about 30-ish years. Um, and he smoked about half a pack a day and hadn't really deviated from that, smoking more. Hadn't, I don't know that he'd been that driven to quit smoking, but the smoking with even just going under general anesthesia, it's impacted your lungs, whether you really think it has or not. On some level, it has, not that they can't heal. And then also just the healing process, his vascular system being able to repair well, and his immune system and things. So he came to me to stop smoking so he could get this surgery done, which he said that he should have probably had done, a year or so ago, maybe longer. But so he'd also shared, I always get to know my clients as well as I can and kind of what their past challenges have been, and past life things, that how they process things. Because smoking's a huge coping skill as well. So if you're going to get rid of that, you have to have some kind of sense that you'll be able to replace it. So so he came in and so we did the hypnotherapy. And when he came back, he told me that he had came back from hypnotherapy. He said that his mind, I said, like, what are you thinking? And he goes, my mind has never been this quiet. And he said he's always thinking about things and worrying about things, and trying to work through issues, whatever. But he literally said his mind had never been that quiet. And he's actually coming back tomorrow, so I can't wait to hear how he's doing.
Wow. How long does something like that last? So, smoking is forever typically.
Uh-huh.
And that being said, are there people that stop smoking through hypnotherapy, but then maybe gravitated back to it and had have hypnotherapy touch up, if you will?
Oh yeah. I think so. My focus on that is always getting to what the underlying issue is, or what during their day comes up that they're going like, oh, I need to have a cigarette right now. So getting to those things, and just even under hypnotherapy, have things come up for them that maybe they hadn't thought of or considered, and change their perspective through hypnotherapy so that they can be successful in the long run. And yeah, I mean, and reoccur. I like it when people come in I tell them consider doing 3 sessions, and optimally don't want them more than a week apart. So get them in kind of, one every 3 or 4 days. And because I think that really solidifies things, and it also makes them focus on things. So when they come back, they could like, oh, I realize this is a big part of my day, or this is a big trigger. And so we can really focus on those things.
And when you say get them in, that could be a Zoom, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So for this man who stopped smoking because of true health reasons, and he had a challenge there, for surgery to get that done. The chatter in his head, would that be gone indefinitely as well, just like not smoking?
I think once you've kind of established patterns, they're pretty, um, how you move. And it could be just how your body processes things, chemically, metabolically, all that kind of stuff. And just how you've worked through issues in the past to keep yourself safe. So, the, I think it's really powerful for them to even get to that spot for, the after the hypnotherapy itself. And even if it lasts just a couple of days, I always tell them, like, they've done this. It's not, they don't
Mm,
need me ongoing. Not that I don't want them ongoing,
right. Sure.
but it's their own subconscious mind that they've accessed. And if they can start doing those routines, then they're going to be more successful.
I look at it this way too, that you proved in his case, he proved to himself, wait, it's possible to, I call it the chattering monkeys. That's like, as always,
Yeah.
you go to the zoo and you see the monkeys all talking. It quiets them down. I can do this. It's possible. No medication.
Right.
And if the monkeys come back, then, another session or two of hypnotherapy. I don't know if I shared with you, I had a session before we met, and
Uh-huh.
the practitioner sent me some audio. And it wasn't the session, it was just her speaking about 18 minutes to achieve the goal that I had. But to your point of how somebody has hypnotherapy, but there's another benefit, I will listen to her audio and it helps me fall asleep
Hmm.
in like 6 minutes. And I know exactly what she's going to say. It's almost funny in my mind. I'm waiting for her to, punch certain words. And it's like, here's that word. Here's she going to say it. And like, I know what
Uh-huh.
she's going to say, but I still like, oh, all right. Yeah, I'm zoning out. And I fall asleep, and I've woken, hours later with the audio's on my phone, with the phone on my chest and my headphones on, which is a good thing
Uh-huh.
because they're noise canceling headphones, so no sound anywhere. And it was another benefit, but at the same time, I achieved the benefit, the intended benefit. But as I understand it, your subconscious is always listening. So even while I'm sleeping, I'm finishing the rest of the 18 minutes of audio and still getting stuff put in my subconscious to clear things out or change.
Right. And so, if you do that routinely or regularly, then you're changing your neural pathways through doing that. And your muscles are going like, oh, okay, this is when I need to relax, and
Mm,
things like that. But, yeah, that chatter you were talking about that's more your conscious mind. And so,
yeah.
getting to that subconscious mind is where, hypnotherapy takes you. And once you get there, you're like, oh gosh, this is a whole other part of me that, I want to bring this up more, um, than the chatter.
Do you feel that, and a lot of us have the chatter, the
Hmm.
self-doubt, the voice in your head telling you, you look this way. Why? All of that. Is that ultimately coming from your subconscious?
So it, I think depending on how like ingrained it is, so that like this is always coming up for me under this situation. So I think that's in your subconscious, and that's what needs to get retrained or repatterned, or just, change your perspective on something.
Yeah. And I would have to imagine that, that programming has come from, when we were kids. Yeah, those limiting beliefs are in
Yeah.
there, and that's where, the hypnotherapy is beneficial for that.
Right, right. Because you haven't always had them, unless, there's a whole element of past life things.
Sure.
And, So you could, you'll be bringing in a certain perspective when you're born, but and over time that gets, other patterns and just how you interact with things and how things affect you. Yeah.
I mean, it's my belief that when we're born, we're all the same. Baby comes out, doesn't matter what color the baby is, what their background was. Um, we're all the same. We can't speak. So you can't say, language or anything there. We start the same, but then things that we experience molds us like a piece of clay in a certain direction. And sometimes, the direction isn't the best one for adult life. And that's yeah, where we derail, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And I think so, not to disagree with you at all, but I think when you're born too, you're born with, so I have four boys and they all take things differently, and even when they were infants, firstborn, somebody would just have different physiological things. One of them was colicky, one of them, he kind of cry and then he'd kind of go like, oh, I don't think I need to cry anymore. So they just have different perspectives that way, which is
Yeah.
really going to.
Well, okay. So, and yes, I totally agree with you. I guess to clarify it, in terms of we have those things going on, but overall, we're a clean slate when we come out. We're not,
Right.
I don't want to use the word jaded because it sounds negative, but we haven't experienced life yet until life goes on. And then when you start experiencing those things stay with you. And then
Hmm.
they could be you're three and you hear a conversation and it's not intended for you, but you internalized it. Now you kept it, and now you have a limiting belief that puts a block on in your adult life. We're clean slates that way.
Right.
That's where I was
Correct.
going with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
agree with that.
uh, do you think, Victoria, that you could give an example of how you get somebody into a hypnotic state? I feel that so many people, this is a mystery. There's
Uh-huh.
things going on there, and I don't know if I want to do this. That and they push back. But if they were able to see how simple it is, and the intent here is not that we're trying to hypnotize anybody,
No.
to show them how it works.
Sure.
It's probably not going to work because we're not in the frame of mind for that to take place, right?
Right, right. So I always tell people, getting into hypnotherapy, we're getting into your subconscious mind. And the way we do that is get you into a trance state, which is a state of mind that you go into several times during your day. So, like if you're driving on a route that you know really well and you're like, gosh, I don't remember the last mile. Well, it's not that you were unconscious, it's just that you dipped into that subconscious. And your subconscious mind is always awake and aware. So, like you were
Hmm.
saying with um, you can't go down too low in hypnotherapy and feel like, oh, it didn't work. But so then the I usually start with just having them focus on body parts and
Hmm.
just have this sense of relaxation and comfort and calming come in and just kind of go up through. And I just kind of slowly increase it through all their body parts. And then at that point, a lot of times I like them to, see a space where they're at the top of a staircase and they can kind of see it however they want to
Hmm.
and focus on it and things and then take them down those 10 steps. And with each step, they go down deeper and
Ah,
um,
okay.
yeah, and then get to that trance state. And you can just watching somebody, you can see like, oh, okay, good, they're there.
Uh, what you're describing is in the audio that I have. It's taking
Oh,
the
okay.
steps going down. It does start with the, I don't know what it's called, but the eye movement where you look up as far as you can. You're looking into your eyelids or your eyebrows, and you're looking hard, and you're there, and you're just breathing, and then eventually your eyes start blinking, and
Mhm.
I understand that once that starts taking place, you're entering hypnosis.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot of different ways to get people to that spot, and that certainly is one. That
Hmm.
the the other is just taking those really deep breaths and just relaxing and that kind of thing. And, after people have done it several times, they I don't see that they necessarily have to do it one way or the other. They're kind of like, oh, okay, I get where I'm going to be going, and let's get there.
So, question, and I
Uh-huh.
always wondered about this, and then it comes back in my mind from time to time. Is hypnosis a little bit like meditation? Is there any connection there?
So I think there is. I think there's a lot of similarities with just getting your mind to calm. And a lot of people with meditation that haven't done it are like, I just can't shut my mind down. And
Yeah.
and it's like that's not even necessarily the focus of meditation. It's just more kind of directing yourself internally and even externally. There's a lot of different processes for that, but you get that really calm. I think um, feeling like you're more focused and more centered from doing both those things.
Hmm. And that's because you want the same goal to quiet your mind, to just focus on one thing or nothing, and what prompted me to ask that question is that you said focus on a body part. When you're attempting to meditate, you're focusing on something, maybe the sensation of your butt touching the seat,
Right,
or
sure.
your breathing, of the breath going in, what's it feeling like, and through your nose out again. It's that focus. So it seems to be the same to get into a hypnotic state.
Yeah, yeah. So the you want to just be really in this one present moment and not having all these other external things popping in. And if they do, you can just I always tell people you can let them go. You don't have to focus on those right now. But that so you're that's getting to that subconscious mind, you the clarity with that is your logical mind is just so busy that I mean I've done this a lot of times. I'll be like, oh, I really want to do X, Y, or Z. And then I'll be, my logical mind will be processing and it'll be like, oh, I probably shouldn't do that. And then maybe this will happen or that'll happen. Then but I'll talk and I'll have this underlying sense of I shouldn't do this for whatever reason. I don't even need to figure out what that reason is. I just should let this bypass. But then I'll talk myself out of that and then get further along and go like, okay, I was telling myself to not do this. So,
Why do we do that? Why do we do that?
well, I think that's that conflict between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And a lot of things I think is maybe cultural even because we're so driven to achieve this or achieve that or
Mm.
you know whatever it is, and to just sit there and be quiet isn't something that I don't think we're really brought up with.
Deep question on this one.
Uh-huh.
Is that a form of anxiety where you're thinking about something and concerned about it? Is it essentially maybe, on a lower level, that's anxiety?
Oh yeah, I totally believe that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm
you're having this fight because you're fighting your conscious mind with your subconscious mind.
right.
So yeah.
I have a text here from somebody I'm very close to, and her job requires her to make a quota every day and every week. And she's not hitting it this week. But every time this happens, nothing happens. And there's sometimes where her superiors come back and say, yeah, you actually did hit it, or there's never an issue. I'm like, don't worry about it. And guess
Uh-huh.
what? It's okay to have an off week. She has
Oh
some stuff going
yeah.
on, but it's hard. Like it makes her sick. She worries that much.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
bet.
She needs hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
there
Yeah. Give me a
and,
call.
and there's got to be reasons why she worries so much about it. And I tell her, what's the worst that could happen? If you get fired, okay, there will be another job. Something will turn up. Maybe you need to leave this one to get a better one, whatever it might
Right.
be. I feel it all works out. And
Yeah.
but it's hard for her to get over that. She just said, I'm sick to my stomach today over this.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's one of the things I really like about getting people into hypnotherapy and, bringing up past events or that were positive and just enjoying and but also negative ones, and seeing them, doing some clearing of them and seeing things from a different perspective. Because a lot of times even things that we hold on to, we'll think like, well, I need to, this has helped me in the past and this is how I achieved X, Y, or Z. And but then in hypnotherapy, I'll bring that up. It's like, maybe we all tend to hold on to things that it's time to release.
Right.
So it's benefited us to one up till now, but somebody else needs to use this in the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a reason for everything. In her situation, I don't know what it is that goes back in her past or her subconscious that makes her worry about that stuff. And I'm going to say that I used to worry about stuff myself, but through full disclosure here, not because we're talking, through hypnotherapy, got past a lot of that. So I don't worry so much anymore. And I believe that was the offshoot of, I had a certain goal, but like we talk about with the gentleman who doesn't hear the chatter, I think that would describe me too, as an offshoot of hypnotherapy.
Yeah. So you're getting into that subconscious more. You're
Yeah.
just allowing yourself to go with that.
Yeah, absolutely. How do we connect with you, Victoria? If somebody, even just to ask some questions to start there, how do we do that?
Sure. So you can email me at centraloregonhypnotherapy.com. You can look at that. I have a website there, and my phone number, you can send a text or call. It's 971-221-3730. So yeah, I'd love to hear from anyone. I spend a lot of times people call and think, oh, I'm looking at it for this or this or this, and they have several questions. And so I like getting on the phone with them and getting a sense of me and, what their real issue underlying might be and what their goals are. So I think I enjoy that.
Yeah, everybody's unique, and you could have 5 people before you that want to quit smoking. Everyone is going to be a little bit different in terms of their reason, what got them there in the first place. You got to go back to that. So yeah, it starts with the conversation. Thank you so much for being here today. Learned a lot. Very cool.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.